everyone, I'm Andreas.
I'm Andri.
And recently, we watched Chocolate, Strawberry and Vanilla.
What a movie.
Chocolate, Strawberry and Vanilla is the story of Warren Thompson, a single, lonely ice cream driver who recently had his life turned terrible. His cat has recently died, drug dealer has taken up the spot where he usually sells his ice cream, and he is in love with an actress. But all that changes when the actress starts appearing at his ice cream van. The reason we didn't have Martin in on this is because we didn't want to expose him to the movie. So Andri, what did you think? Wow. Very good.
Welcome to Pagefire, we're very organized.
What did you think about Chocolate, Strawberry and Vanilla?
It was definitely a really disturbing character analysis type of movie. There's a lot of scenes in this movie where the main character is vlogging to a really old 4x3 camera. But basically the Björk fanatic, he would make vlogs of himself being obsessed over Björk. He shaved himself completely and shot himself on camera. That video thankfully has never surfaced on the internet, I hope. Please don't search it up. I will say, like, the scenes that remind me of the Björk fanatic, this is unsettlingly close. The only difference is to replace the blood with shoeshine. And because, Australia is very strict with the guns, they couldn't show, a suicide scene, so they did something different with the ending that I want to reveal.
They did something very different and we can't show it on YouTube, let's say like that.
Let's say that, yeah.
But what did you think about the movie?
Very...
I thought the movie was okay. It's not good, it's not bad.
I would say it's more, not trying to shock you, but trying to get something out of you by showing you the journey of this character with the mental disabilities.
I think that the mentality of this character is the main drive. It is a character study. The movie focuses too much on making someone who is obsessed with a celebrity and stalking them and vlogging about them and dreaming about them be something more unique. It feels like it tries to make this a very special story by having those things in it, but at the same time, in the modern day, where people are creepier stalkers than ever, it doesn't feel like a unique story anymore. And I think that's the problem with the movie, is that it puts too much stock in having this character be that way.
The age is 11 and up.
Oh, it's 18 somewhere else. But with all of this internet obsession and stalking and videos of manifestos, it just doesn't feel all that special. It feels like a story that has been told in reality and a lot of people have experienced it. Which, sure, that does give credence to the movie somewhat, because it surely exposes you to those fears, but for someone who already knows about it, it doesn't really strike a chord. I will say that it's very well shot and it's incredibly well acted, and if you are looking for a movie for those reasons, it's definitely worth picking up.
For me, by the way, hold on, let me just show this. This movie cost 10 crowns.
Which is like £1.
Sometimes I like to just go to the nearby store and find like these bargain movies where they're just giving away movies for like 10 crowns, and this was one of them. And just looking at the cover, I thought it was something else because, you see the guy holding an ice cream that's bleeding.
Yeah, we thought this was going to be
And I just noticed, they gave him a gun. Like, yeah, I was expecting a hitman dressed as an ice cream seller, but instead I got a character study.
Yeah, I was expecting that it was an ice cream man who went batshit crazy trying to protect someone or trying to kill kids who were mean to him. I would think I would have preferred either or. Sure, it would have been less, it wouldn't have said as much, but it would be better, because I think one of the problems as well is that the movie uses a little bit too much time talking about Warren and his outlook on life instead of focusing on some of the other characters. This is a spoiler, but it's not really worth checking out for the story.
Spoiler territory, might as well.
Yeah,
the few of you that actually want to see this weird movie.
If you want to, go ahead, but yeah. One of the minor characters, and I do mean minor characters in the story, is a shopkeeper, and it turns out that she's on heroin, like later in the movie, and we get no build up to it, no understanding of why she does it. And if the movie had spent maybe a little bit of time hinting at it, it wouldn't have felt like such a sudden push. Like, no, we just need Warren to suddenly become aware that this drug dealer / pimp is selling drugs to his friend, so he will kill the drug dealer. No, it was a great scene when he bashed in the drug dealer's head with a wrench.
That was really well done.
Yeah. The movie's effects are really well done, the shots are really well done. It just takes itself too seriously. If it took itself less seriously, would have been fun. I also want to note that he drives over his cat, so if you like cats, don't watch this movie, because he drives over his cat, it's really bloody, and then he puts it in a plastic bag and buries it. Okay, that was bad. Then he flashes back to it later when he's reminded of his dead cat, and then you see him just take one of the legs that have fallen off and put it in a plastic bag, and it's so upsetting. I love cats. Anything else you have to say about this movie?
I felt like the fantasy scenes and the lead up to, I think I forgot to mention this, the celebrity has a crush on actually visits his ice cream van, and he asks her on a date, she says yes. And then later, he waits for her, he talks to her, and she's like, I don't even know you, weirdo. Plot twist, turns out all the times he talked to her was all in his head. The weird thing is about this movie, it has like 2 ways of doing a fantasy scene. One where he's just in the ice cream truck meeting the celebrity, and another one where he's at home
watching the celebrity on TV, on the soap opera. He really likes
imagine himself being in a character talking to her.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a bit too confusing.
I don't think it was that confusing, but then again, I don't find the third Matrix movie confusing. I just find it bad.
Yeah, badly confusing.
No, not confusing.
Well, this movie, it doesn't have a set style for his fantasies.
Yeah, there is no real visual hint, which I appreciate. So, Andri, would you recommend people watch Chocolate, Strawberry, Vanilla?
I would recommend it, but don't watch it with friends. Or at least give a warning that a cat's gonna die. And some disturbing scenes, especially if you know someone with mental disabilities, or if you have mental disabilities or Asperger's. This movie might hit home a little bit too much.
Yeah, I don't think I'd recommend the movie just because, again, I think it refers too much to, isn't it weird how obsessive and strange this guy is, and how stalkerish and how terrible he is. Because I just experience that so much when I go online and just look at, oh yeah, that's how people act towards women.
I would also recommend this movie if you like dark humor.
It doesn't really have enough dark humor though, does it?
I mean, it has some here and
It has some, but I'll
especially
agree to
with the drug dealer. It was like I'm gonna come into you, so you can. The door's locked. I'll open it. It's pretty thick.
That's pretty funny.
But most of the humor is just, hey, look at these random people being mean or asshole.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Like the random metalheads that just give him an excuse so he's outside the van.
I don't think I'd recommend it. I mean, it has some dark humor, it has some good bits. Like if you're an actor looking for advice on how to act, that's a really good movie. Just seeing how he made the character come to life. If you are looking for a little bit of how do you make this look really realistic, like filmmakers should maybe watch it, but general populace, maybe not. Speaking of another movie...
Yes?
What did you think about Dragonquest?
Yeah. This is a great garbage movie.
Dragonquest is a story about a young boy who has to fill a necklace full of rocks to stop evil. Tell me I'm wrong.
That's it. But by the way, you're probably thinking this has something to do with the video game. No, they just stole the title.
Yeah, this is an Asylum Films, and we think it might be trying to rip off Aragon.
No, hold up. It says here on the back, hybrid of Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Dragonheart, and Aragon.
So mostly Aragon.
Mostly Aragon. Although one of the quotes on the back is, this dragon looks awesome.
Unlike Aragon?
Unlike Aragon.
Aragon sucks.
I mean, our dragon's on fire, so that's copyright protected.
Dragonquest is a really kind of stupid movie full of unearned victories.
And a lot of, what was it called? Exposition.
I think that the best part about this movie is... Oh, what was his name again?
Maxims. No, I thought the main character?
No, the main character sucked.
Yeah, the
He was
only
just
character we
there.
remember is Maxim.
The keeper.
Maxim was amazing. All he does is completely crooked, act drunk, beat the hero, and deliver dumb exposition. He delivers his final exposition about himself right before he dies.
He gets backstabbed, so he has to give a backstory.
It's so dumb. He is the movie stand-in for Brahm, and even though I think Brahm is the best part of Aragon, this guy just trumps him on so many levels.
What? Ooh. Never turn your back on an enemy.
Let's talk about the other things. The
The exposition, the movie. The main
effects.
character's grandfather just gives him a bunch of exposition after looking at some woman's side boob. And
You
he's
know,
just-
the best part about that character is that he is just named grandfather.
And every time they bring it up, they all call him grandfather. So we have a canon lore that everyone in this universe has the same grandfather.
Yes, you are grandfather's boy.
Everyone calls him grandfather. Every time he mentions grandfather, everyone knows who he's talking
oh
about.
yeah, the grandfather.
It's brave of them to go with the first draft of the script.
First draft, no edits, no questions asked. So when the actors got the script, they were like, "Oh shit, that's a lot of backstory. I guess can someone just hold the script outside the camera so I can just talk?"
I think one of my favorite things as well was that the main character, the main female character, because of course there is a female love interest for no reason, is
Wonder Woman.
yeah, and if I'm not wrong, this movie was made before Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
so
2002.
Wonder Woman stole from Dragonquest.
Oof.
Though Maxim is my favorite character, there's also a guy with a beret and a horn on the beret at the side in one of the fight scenes, and it's magic.
At least they had the budget of having a green screen so they could have multiple soldiers fighting each other. But there was a couple of times where I could see they just had to copy paste different people. There was a scene where the spear gets cut off by the frame.
Yeah, I think that's a bit charming though, when you can kind of see how they did it. So I don't mind that much. I have a theory about this movie, because the acting is atrocious, but they have actual weapons in it. Or, sometimes they have very clearly plastic swords, but other times it's very much
Swords that make stick sounds.
Other times there's oh, that looks like a genuine weapon. So I think they just went to Ren Fair and asked random people if they wanted to be in the movie. Based on the fact that they had their own props.
Yes.
Tell me I'm wrong, Andri.
Well, you're not wrong. I think that's pretty close to accurate. Anyway, the MacGuffins.
Oh my god.
So the main character gets a necklace, totally not different from Lord of the Rings, and he has to collect rocks.
I also love that his grandfather, or everyone's grandfather, we don't know, has given him this necklace and says it's incredibly dangerous and it might kill you and shit. And in the next scene you see him wear it around his neck like nothing. He has to go and find these rocks. And you might expect that, oh, these rocks are really important, they're connected to a quest. No,
Maxim says it's part of the virtues. You have to have a true soul or whatever to get these rocks.
And he does so little. I think the most he does to earn the rocks is to get eaten by a lizard.
The only rock I think he actually deserves is the first one, where Maxim's like, go drown with his sea serpent and find the rock. And he has to go down 3 times. And every time Maxim's like, did you find the rock? No, go back down there.
Oh. I love Maxim, he's great.
But then the other times he either just happens to find it or is given to by some random people.
Yeah, it's not even like tests, it's more like, oh, you didn't have sex with me. Here's a rock of chastity. Because that's one of the virtues. And then he helps someone get out of a prison he was in because he got kidnapped for 5 minutes, and they say, here's another rock, have some money, and he goes, oh, okay.
And there's a scene where clearly not a rip-off of Lord of the Rings spider scene, except instead of being eaten by a spider because they couldn't afford the animation for the fight scene, the spider just walks past him as he stands still.
Walks past, and it's such a great little scene that just reminds you so much.
And then, as soon as the spider's gone, he bumps into a helmet. Oh, there's a rock. What virtue is that?
Finding things. The virtue of not attacking spiders.
I just realized there's actually 7 virtues, but he only finds like 5 rocks. He's supposed to find 6. This movie doesn't do math well.
Well, the final virtue is that was inside of him all along. He didn't need the necklace.
And that leads to an awkward fight scene with the villain. We forgot the villain. This guy is an asshole. He just throws a thing in a volcano and summons a dragon and ruins everyone's day. What was his main plan? Just have a dragon?
Well, he said that he would want to make the world better, but I don't think he made the world better by having a dragon. He made it arguably worse.
He brightened people's day by saying, "Oh, look, a dragon," before they died. So at least he made people happy.
He brightened their day by burning their house down. It got brighter, sure, but...
Anyway, back to the ending. Spoilers for the very 10 of you that care. The fight scene is the main guy shooting things out of his hand and the evil guy shooting things out of his hand. The guy pushes the main character off a cliff and he's rescued by a CGI dragon.
Because he summons a blue CGI dragon to fight his black fire dragon. Totally not Aragon, guys.
How to train your CGI animator.
And yeah, Wonder Woman, which is the code name I have for the female.
She was fighting 2 dudes.
Yeah, but it cut so rarely to her that you forgot she was fighting them.
Yes.
I was like, oh right, she's in the movie.
And then what happened to the bad guy? Yeah, he turned into clothes.
The most powerful spell of all. You're now accessories.
And then the main character, Wonder Woman, look at the moon, and we were just waiting for Maxim to show up on the moon going, "You did, kid!"
He didn't. This was the biggest letdown of the movie.
Instead, it just ends with a soundtrack that most of the budget would put into.
It was not a good movie, but it was...
It's Asylum, so it was at least badly entertaining.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I found this in the bargain bin. By the way, this one was also barely
like
a dollar. Barely a dollar.
I have a feeling that the pound is going to massively crash, and I'm sad that Martin wasn't here to experience this with us. But I think we will watch it again. At least I want to. Yeah. So I recommend it to watch with friends. Because it is such a bizarre experience that it's definitely worth it. You can have a lot of commentary just swinging back and forth from the screen. It's great.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. If you love fantasy movies, you're gonna hate this movie for its overdone hero's journey and lazy plot development and overabundance of backstory.
But you are going to enjoy it more than Aragon.
Yeah. Aragon was just Star Wars, this is something else.
Aragon was Star Wars, this is LSD.
Watch it, you nerds. By the way, this box art is not only lies, classic Asylum, it's pixelated as hell.
Yeah, there is no such sword in it, I think.
They're trying to trick you into thinking this is a better movie. You see a dragon, you see a guy holding a cool dragon sword, you see a bunch of soldiers. You think it's gonna be like a biggest Lord of the Rings. No, it's Asylum.
I think the reality strikes in when you see them.
I just remembered something.
Yeah?
Is this movie slightly racist?
Oh yeah, that's right!
Because one of the highwaymen is a...
2 of the highwaymen are African American.
And one of them had a hand paint thing.
Yeah, kind of like Saruman's white hand.
Yeah.
But the thing was that the bad guy was a white guy, granted, but he had a lot of evil minions who were all African American, and none of the good guys were African American. And it's
what are you trying to say, Asylum?
Yeah, I think they just didn't think about it. That might be it.
And maybe they're like, oh, the only viable job market is with evil capitalists.
Yeah, and it's also like everyone from the East is evil, which is something Tolkien has been in on. You know, he has that problematic aspect as well, but what can I say? Watch it, it is very entertaining.
And while you're at it, subscribe to Pagefire for more content.
Or don't, do what you want.
Heavy on the pizza ball.